Welcome back to Mountain Men Outdoors. This is episode 5 of reality deer hunting, and I started not to put this video together because just so many things went crazy this evening. It just didn't work out like I wanted it to. It did work out, but not like I wanted it to. And but I told you guys that in this on this YouTube channel, we're bringing things real. This is not Hollywood. So I'm going to go ahead and put this video out there. Give you a little bit of a background. This is the first time I've been able to go muzzleload hunting since the season come in because of my crazy, insane work schedule and all these storms and stuff that we've had. But anyway, I knew I had a buck in the area. I knew I had a couple bucks in the area. And there was plenty of bucks on. I'd seen bucks all day long. I had a really good feeling that I was going to see a buck this evening. So I went ahead and got on the stand. I rushed to get home. I only had just a little bit of time to hunt, but I just felt like I needed to be in the woods. And so y'all watch the video. It's going to get exciting. Stay tuned. Today is Tuesday, November 3rd, Election Day. Today is the first day in about a week and a half that I've got to slow down from work. We had a couple storms roll in, took a lot of power out. We had one good rainstorm that set in, rained about 3 inches. Had a lot of outages from that, and then so I was working 12, 16-hour days, and when we finally got that taken care of, we had a cold front push through, some high winds. We had some 40 and 50 mile an hour straight line winds. But anyway, so it's been super crazy. Finally got a chance to get in the woods since muzzleloader season is opened. It's been open since this past Saturday. I told y'all that I was going to move this tree stand on my last video. I finally caught just a little bit of break a couple days ago and come out here to move this tree stand. There was a buck bedded down 5 yards from my stand. He wasn't a monster buck, but I could have killed him. But I didn't have my camera on, and I just didn't want to burn a tag that quick because I'm getting ready to start my vacation. I work the rest of this week, and then I'm off for the rest of the month. So I hated to burn a tag that quick. Anyway, I'm in the stand today. There's been a buck in here since my last video. Has tore up Jack. He's horned, I bet, 30 trees right here beside my tree stand. So I decided just to leave it where it's at. It's a little breezy this afternoon. On my way in, I sprayed Smart Doe Esters. I also sprayed down with some dead downwind. I've never really used either one of those very often, but I thought I'd experiment and try it a little bit. I'm hoping to have some action here in a little while, so y'all stay tuned. I'll turn you back on when it gets interesting. So I'm walking in the lane. Sounds like I'm hearing deer on this side of me over here. I've also had some squirrels barking on my left, and now I'm hearing some in the leaves. I've got my CVA Optima 50 caliber muzzleloader this evening. Hopefully a nice buck will come by. Alright guys, I got some deer coming through. If there's a buck in the bunch, it may happen fast, I don't know. Alright guys, it's in this point of the video. I'm seeing several deer.
I don't know, you'll be able to see them here in just a minute. They're at the right-hand side of the screen, and they're also up on the skyline. So before I'm actually trying to get my camera around where you can see them good, I'm going ahead and looking at them through the scope and seeing if I can see a buck. Well, I did notice that I seen a buck, and he was chasing some of these does, and you'll hear him probably too, but he had a pretty decent rack. So at this point, I knew there were several does and one racked buck that I would have been happy to have shot. All right, right here you see that buck. I'm right in the center of the screen. He's right on the skyline, and he's actually trailing a doe that had just went through there. And I've got it zoomed in, but you can't tell much about his horns. But he's a pretty decent buck, and he comes through. He's got his head down, and you're getting ready to see him again here in just a second, just to the right of the middle part of the screen. All right, he comes through right there, and he goes down in behind this tree, and he bumps a doe and gets her stirred up, and there she runs back across the top. So at this point, from my angle, I can see him really good. And there I've zoomed back out. He's right in behind that tree to the right of the screen. And I'm actually looking at him through the scope, but he's still right on that skyline, and that is not a safe direction for me to shoot. So I watch him just for a few minutes, and there's no way I can shoot at that angle. So now there's some other deer to the right, and you'll be able to see them here in just a few minutes, and he gets to running around and chasing these deer. All right, right here is where things start really getting hectic, because that buck has run that first doe off, and she's done went across on the ridge above me, and he got down here with this other group of deer, and he's chasing them all over the place. There's multiple deer running, and so I'm trying to, it's so thick, and I'm trying to get back on and see which one he is. So here I'm looking for horns, and there's deer running around everywhere, and I'm going to pan back out here in just a second and let you see a little bit bigger picture, because there's some more deer while I'm looking at them through the scope back over to the right. There's some other deer that goes right across the top right there in the center of the screen that I didn't notice were going through. All right, if you look right to the center of the screen, you'll see some trees, and up toward on the skyline a little bit to the left, you can start seeing these deer filtering through, and these are the does that he was chasing. Now I'm thinking there were 2 deer in this bunch, and so I'm frantic, I'm panicking, I'm trying to figure out which one's the buck. The more they go on out the ridge, the better chance I got of getting a shot, because it gets to where they're in a safe direction to shoot for me. So I'm just watching and just trying to put a set of horns on them. And I see this deer here close coming out right to the right. So I check it. It's a doe. I didn't see the deer go through behind it with the naked eye. I didn't notice it even went through until I went back and watched the footage. But it looks to be another doe. So I'm just trying like crazy just to find which one is the buck again. And there's still more deer. There's still 2 or 3 deer moving around, even over to my right. But it's hard to see them all when you're trying to look through your scope. So that's kind of one way I got messed up. And also, I've got my cell phone. I'm videoing all this with my cell phone. I've got my phone in a gimbal on a tree arm that I made. And something I didn't mention earlier is we're at such a rushed hunt, my gimbal battery was just about to die. All right, so I've checked all the deer. I'm not finding the buck. And right here going through the brush, I did not see this deer until I went back and looked at the footage. This is the buck that I was actually looking for. He's a pretty decent buck, and he's going through with his nose on the ground, trailing those does that went through just a few minutes ago. And I never even seen this deer this time. And the reason for that is because over to my right, I'm watching a couple more deer running around, and I just know in my mind that it's that same buck that I seen. And so I've narrowed it down. I just know that he's there. And I didn't know he just now went across the top of the ridge. All right, so you see this deer come running across. I was watching the deer that was behind the one you just seen run across. I just know that was him. So I'm looking, and I finally get a look at him, and the sun shines on his head there, one little spot through the brush, and I spot a horn. So what my plan is, I knew that was the buck I was looking for. Turns out it wasn't. So what my plan is, I move the camera around, and as soon as he steps out in the good view of the camera, I'm going to go ahead and shoot him if I can get a shot through the brush. So right here, my gimbal dies, and my camera stopped recording. All right, so when the camera stopped recording, I got an opening. This buck stepped out, and I shot him. And when he run by me, after I shot him, I saw that he was a lot smaller than the buck I was looking for. And I thought it was the same buck, and I shot, and it's just a little old fork-horn buck, a little 4-point. But I'm thankful for him. The old muzzleloader got to eat. Thank you guys for watching.